This whole just kind of following this whole thing, I've covered it on the page a decent amount in terms of like the potential bill here. That doesn't look like it's gonna go through here. I personally think that the best future for college football would be like collectively bargained, where like each of the conferences go to the TV networks and negotiate their own deals. But at the end of the day, man, Miami's day in the ACC is not going to be much longer. I think they'll be out of there in the next 5 years, one way or another. So
I wanted to ask you about that for sure, because I saw your video. You did a detailed video on it, it was like 35 minutes long, where you talked about
yeah,
all of this thing with the players that could come back, like
yeah,
Wesley the Saint, who I would take in a second if you wanted to come back. Like that would be without a thought. Like, come on,
yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
But
Linebacker.
would you? I'm almost of the thought of, when we're 6-6, our brand is still huge. It's still a
Yeah.
huge brand. But when you're in the national championship, the brand is huge. It's massive.
Mm-hmm.
Is this? Would you be against going back to becoming an independent and scheduling who you want to schedule?
Dude,
Your
no,
brand
I'm
is
not.
massive. You could grab a TV deal from whoever you want. Someone will pay for it. You know that.
100%. Dude,
Over joining another
I would
conference.
be in. I'd be in all. Like, I actually kind of threw that out there in one of the videos, because essentially they are right now, under the way that it's proposed, right? There would be and there's another change that they're trying to make now, where maybe this wouldn't be the case. But essentially, if a team wants to go from one conference to another, they would have to become an independent for 5 years before doing that. And at that point, you're not making money with the conference. But Rudy, I think there's an argument to be made that when Miami left from the Big East to come to the ACC, they would have been better off being an independent, because what happens is, you, as you kind of alluded to there, you control everything as a university right now.
Yep.
They don't have an AD right now, so that's one part of it. And I feel very confident with Joe Echeverria and Rudy Franz and the guys making a lot of these decisions right now. But at the end of the day, if you're an independent, imagine an Amazon Prime, right? Which now we're going to a whole other thing, because the stream, and we'd be pulling up these games on stream. But Netflix, we know they're getting it's a crazy concept. But can you imagine Netflix being the official partner of the University of Miami, and you have your own crew that does every game,
insane,
right? And you have a documentary every year for every team. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's not that crazy.
It sounds amazing.
It sounds amazing. Now, there's a lot of stuff that there's a lot of stuff that needs to work. To me, the hardest part, Rudy, would be the way that these schedules are changing, right? With the 9-game, the Big Ten and the SEC, and even the ACC now doing the 9-game, conference schedules. The big non-conference games are not really a thing, like as much as they have been in the past. Now they're becoming less and less. Like, especially you see these early season slates, a lot of them are pretty bad here. So you got to find 12 teams a year willing to play Miami. That's the hard part, is figuring that out. But you can get creative here. Who's to say that you don't get, some of these teams a piece of that money for those games, right? Like, there's different ways that I think you can structure it that would be very enticing for some of these teams to play. And again, as you said it, the brand is unbelievable, right? Like, I just think there's so many crazy possibilities. Like, hey, Michael Irvin having his own show on there. Like, that sort of stuff. I just think that our brand is so different and unique that a company like that would be able to pull off some pretty crazy stuff. Now, that's a long ways away from where we are now in terms of like what that could mean, but I'd be open to it, man. I think it'd be a very interesting concept for sure.
I mean, I grew up on independent Hurricanes in the 80s.
Exactly.
That was we were independent, and then we went over to the Big East really because of the other sports, not because of football. We weren't there. We were crushing everybody. We played everybody. We could play whoever we wanted, and I mean, heck, when you look at your schedule, like, oh, we got to play Boston College at home. Oh God, and every year the schedule is, and I want Vatek to be good because when they're good, it helps us. But they've had their problems. I think now they're going to be better with James Franklin walking in there. They'll go back to being a 9-10 win team, I would hope. But yeah, I would love to be an independent again. Play whoever you want. Let's play Notre Dame every single year.
Dude,
unless they're too punk to not play us because we know they're punks.
I think Florida State would keep us on the schedule.
Florida State would keep us. No, FSU
Florida State would keep us on the schedule. And Florida State, they'll probably be, they're looking to head somewhere else too themselves. Florida State. But dude, go schedule a couple West Coast teams a year. Like they have that wacky Pac-12 where half those teams are looking for games themselves. Like pay an Oregon State to come down here and play. Like I'd rather play an Oregon State than a Central Michigan. Right?
Me too.
That's. You got to think outside the box a little bit here if you were to do this thing. As Lord Bakington says in the comments, Florida would not play us at all.
No, they won't.
We know they wouldn't. But yeah, man, I think there's an interesting possibility of what it would look like if you were an independent, which everyone's been so fixated on Big Ten, SEC, all that. But I think there's a discussion to be had at the very least.
People don't remember if you go back to the 80s, we played Michigan, on the road. Like we would play anybody. It didn't matter.
Imagine those games, man.
We would play everybody. I remember we played I believe it was David Klingler led Houston, and they were like this air raid offense, and we put the clamps on David Klingler like he was garbage, and that's what we used to do back in the day. It was so much fun to watch.